Five Nights at Freddy's. That's where we're.
Yep, you guys all knew this day was coming. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie is finally out after almost 9 years, almost a decade. I'm gonna just put this away over here. And I actually recently watched it with my best friend. And right now, I'm gonna give you guys a spoiler-free review in case you guys are watching this, just so you have an idea on what to go into when you go watch it. Now, I must say that while this movie does have a lot of perks, it does have a lot of flaws. I'll just get into that, but for right now, we're gonna go into the perks. So, something I really liked about this movie was the amount of references that were in it. It kind of reminded me of the Mario movie because there were just so many that you and your audience could probably be like, oh, they had that. And then there were some that kind of caught me off guard because some of the references in this movie actually aren't really in the games, which leaves you thinking, can they do that? Is that allowed? I guess that's allowed. But aside from that, one thing that I also really liked about the movie was the fact that it was pretty brutal for a PG-13 movie. I mean, it's not as brutal as some movies like Friday the 13th or Halloween or It or Chucky or whatever. But it does have a lot of gory kills that, while aren't really that gory or violent, also really make you thinking, is that allowed in a PG-13 movie? And yes, I looked it up, it is. But there were some kills, and some kills that they actually got back to, where even though there were shadows and it kept the mystery alive, some of them actually caught me off guard, you know? But I feel like we should probably get into the characters, especially Matthew Lillard's William Afton, aka Springtrap. So one thing that really surprised me about the movie was the fact that Matthew Lillard's William Afton was like extremely underused. Like, I feel like you could probably go back to one of those 3C Films videos of him talking about the movie through the trailers, and at one point in some of his videos, he says something like Five Nights at a Desk, which is pretty much what Matthew Lillard's William Afton does. But when he is on the screen, he actually steals the show. Like, it brings back to his character in Scream the amount of like crazed, like mentally insane parts of William Afton that I feel like Matthew Lillard actually brought to the scene insanely well. But now we should probably get into Mike's character, Michael Schmidt. Or, as some of you guys know, Michael Afton. Not really though. But one thing that I really liked about him was that they took a slightly different approach to his character, and they took a slightly different approach to a lot of the characters. But for Mike, his backstory actually adds a lot to not just the movie, but also maybe the games as well. Because it opens the door for, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? Where did his brother go? Who did it? Well, actually, no, that question actually is answered. But also his parents, which that story is still not really, put together in a nice conclusion, in a bow ribbon. Then again, when is in the FNAF franchise. But I feel like his character was done really well. Now let's start talking about the flaws of this movie. Spoiler alert, there's a lot. Now, I saw a lot of reviews about how the movie isn't really that scary, and I'm gonna be honest, I can kind of agree with them. There's a lot of jump scares in the movie, but most of them, especially the one where like Foxy's running down the hall, that's not a spoiler, you saw it in the trailer, don't lie. A lot of them were just more goofy or comedic than actually scary. Like, I don't know how the people that got killed in the movie actually get scared by that. But aside from the fact that the amount of jump scares in the movie don't make it that scary, don't listen to the lies that reviews tell you that it doesn't have a good atmosphere to it. You can have your opinion about it having not a good atmosphere to it, and I can fully respect that. However, it really feels like FNAF, if that makes sense. And also, I can kind of agree with people the fact that a lot of the storylines weren't really wrapped up, but like I said, it's FNAF. When does that ever get happen in the games, you know? But also, aside from what they said about that, I don't really see that much hate for this movie. I don't know, maybe I'm biased, maybe it's because, like, I've been waiting for this movie for 8 years, just like the rest of you guys. But I don't know, I just don't generally have that big of a problem with it, aside from the fact that it isn't really that scary. So, overall, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 6.5, maybe 7. You already know what I said. Good movie, but not perfect. Anyway, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. I know I am. And when you go see the movie, bring a cosplay. Bye, guys.